Good day everyone and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. In this video, I will be discussing the lesson 10 of our module in GED114, which is all about developing vocabulary and spelling skills orientation, specifically the literacy teaching toolkit and phonological awareness. I am Rahima Akmad, a Bachelor of Elementary Education student. Before we discuss our formal lesson, let us understand first what is phonology. Phonology is defined as the study of sound patterns and their meanings. The example of phonology is the study of different sounds and the way they come together to form speech, and words such as the comparison of the sounds of the two P sounds in pop up. This is what makes phonological awareness as a crucial skill to develop in children, since most children learn at their early stage because of the sounds they've heard from the nature, animals, people around them, and even on different things at their home. It is strongly linked to early reading and spelling success through its association with phonics. In this lesson, find out how phonemic awareness relates to phonological awareness and learn the different phonological awareness skills which are the keys in the development of children's vocabulary and spelling skills. But before we start our lesson proper, allow me to read our learning outcomes. At the end of the lesson, the students will be able to: Number 1. Define phonological awareness. Number 2. Describe how phonemic awareness related to phonological awareness. And number 3. Identify and discuss the different phonological awareness skills. Now, the big question is, what is phonological awareness? Phonological awareness is a crucial skill to develop in children. Phonological awareness, or the awareness of an ability to work with sounds in spoken language, sets the stage for decoding, blending, and ultimately word reading. It begins developing before the beginning of formal schooling and continues through 3rd grade and beyond, meaning the ability of the child to decode sounds starts at home, and as the child begins to learn at schools, they already have prior knowledge on phonology or sounds. Phonological awareness is the ability to recognize and manipulate the spoken parts of sentences and words. It is strongly linked to early reading and spelling success through its association with phonics. Take note that phonemic and phonological awareness are different yet very similar. The relationship is that phonological awareness is an umbrella term that has 4 developmental levels, and one of those is the phonemic awareness. Phonemic awareness is the understanding that spoken words are made of individual sounds called phonemes. A phoneme is the smallest unit of sound we hear in a word. Phonological awareness is the focus of literacy teaching, incorporating: Number 1. Recognizing phonological patterns such as rhyme and alliteration. When we said rhyme, it means the repetition of similar sounds which we usually hear in songs or poems, while alliteration is defined as the repetition of initial consonant sounds. For example, in Dunkin' Donut, the D sound of letter D at the beginning of Dunkin' and Donut is an alliteration. Number 2. Awareness of syllables and phonemes within words. Syllable is a single unbroken sound of a spoken or written word. Phonemes, on the other hand, is the smallest unit of speech. Number 3. Hearing multiple phonemes within words. Words can be made up of more than one phonemes. Now, let us proceed to different phonological awareness skills. These can be conceptualized within a sequence of increasing complexity. First skill is the syllable awareness. Syllable awareness involves activities like counting, tapping, blending, or segmenting words into their syllables. Every word can be broken down into syllables. In English, we have the so-called structure of English syllables. Here, every syllable has at least a nucleus or a vowel, and most syllables will also have an onset, the consonants before vowel, and a coda, which is the consonants after the vowel. The nucleus and the coda together make up the rhyme of the syllable. It is the part that rhymes or sounds similar. Let us take a look at this example. I believe that all of us are familiar with the CBC pattern, or the consonant, vowel, consonant pattern. Here, for example, let us use the word math, since this word follows the CBC pattern because M is a consonant, A is a vowel, and T is also a consonant. The word math is considered as a syllable since it only has a single unbroken sound. Math, only one syllable. Now let us apply the structure of English syllable. Our onset here is the M since it is a consonant before the vowel, and our nucleus is the letter A. In our coda, the consonant after the vowel or nucleus is the letter D, and letter A and T made up the rhyme. Recognizing syllable boundaries, counting the number of syllables in words, and blending separate syllables to make words are all important introductions to phonological awareness. There are different syllables based on its count or number in a word. We have the monosyllabic, which only have one number of syllables, disyllabic, which have two number of syllables, and trisyllabic, which have three number of syllables, and multisyllabic for words with more than 3 syllables. Take a look at the table for the examples. In monosyllabic, we have chomp, kitten for disyllabic, magical for trisyllabic, kilometer for multisyllabic, and more. In syllable awareness, we also need to learn about compound words like dog, house, footpath, or lifetime. Compound words are words that combine two separate words to create a new word. Compound words can be a good starting point to introduce syllable awareness, as teachers can present two words separately and show how they blend together to make one word with 2 syllables. Activities for syllable awareness, like all phonological awareness tasks, can take place without any written words. It is easier done orally since the focus is just the sound. In the early years of primary school and beyond, phonological awareness activities can be progressively embedded within written language activities using the written word as well. The next skill that we need to learn in phonological awareness is the rhyme awareness and production. Rhyme awareness is another important phonological awareness task, referring to the awareness of words that rhyme and words that do not rhyme. Words that rhyme are those words that sound alike. For example, children with rhyme awareness would be able to identify the rhyming words from this group below: cat, hat, top. And based on their sounds, the student can identify that cat and hat is the rhyming word since it sounds similarly at the end. Take note that seeing the spelling of these words is not required to focus on phonological awareness. Rhyme production, on the other hand, refers to the ability of students to think of words that rhyme with a given word and is also an important phonological awareness task. In rhyme awareness, the teacher will provide the group of words. In rhyme production, the teacher will only provide the first and second words and will let the students to think of words that rhyme with what the teacher said. For example, students would be asked to hear the rhyme in the words hand, band, and the students will continue it, and the students can come up with another rhyming word like stand. So hand, band, stand. There is a rhyming production. Now, let's take a look at this table. As we can see, some rhymes are more complex than others, with more complex syllable types and numbers of syllables in the rhyme. For example, the following words have multiple syllables in the rhyming part of the word. In one syllable rhyme, we have cop, top, map, stop, and drop. As you can see, the nucleus and the coda made the rhyme at the end of each word. In 2-syllable rhyme, we have nation, station, dalmation, and dictation. The 2-syllable here is the rhyme and not the words. As we can observe, it all ends in a-shon, which is composed of 2 syllables. A-shon. In 3 rhyme, we have barbarian, Bulgarian, and vegetarian. The last 3 syllables is the rhyme. Teachers can incorporate rhyme awareness into many incidental and planned activities as well as formal teaching practices such as model reading or the loud reading where the students listen to a text read aloud by the teacher, shared reading where an interactive reading experience happens where the book is initially read by the teacher and joined by the children, and guided reading where the book is read by the children and facilitated by the teacher. The third skill that we need to learn in studying phonological awareness is the alliteration, sorting initial and final sounds. Alliteration is the occurrence of the same letter or sound at the beginning of adjacent or closely connected words. Sorting is organizing and placing words with the same sound. Alliteration activities are another early phonological awareness activity useful for early childhood settings and the early years of primary school. It is important to note that sorting words by initial and final sounds is not about the initial or final letter. In a phonological awareness activity, remember that the goal is for children to hear the sound within words rather than see the letters and read the letter pattern. When sorting by initial and final sound, remember to listen to see if the words have the sound phoneme and not just the same letter. For example, phone and physical are not sorted under the P sound, but instead both have an initial F sound or the F sound. Alliteration activities can also focus on the last or final sounds in words, so teachers can draw children's attention to the last sound in words. For example, you can sort out which sounds end in a T or a D in these examples. In the T sound, we have tip, where the T sound is in the beginning, and bat, where obviously the T sound is in the end. For the D sound, we have dip, where the D sound is in the beginning, and glide, where the D sound is in the final. As you can see, it ends with a D sound even though its spelling ends with letter E. Fourth skill is the onset rhyme segmentation. Onset, again, is the consonant before the vowel, and rhyme is the combination of the nucleus and the coda. When we say segmentation, it is the division of words or sounds into separate parts or sections. When focusing on onset rhyme segmentation, it is important to understand the structure of English syllables, where we already discussed a while ago, including simple and complex syllables. Again, our focus is the sound and not the pattern of the letters. There are some cases where syllables may have multiple letters but only one speech sound or phoneme. Let's take a look at this table for examples. As we can see, we have the different descriptions of syllables and its consonant and vowel pattern. As what I have mentioned earlier, some syllables may have multiple letters but only one phoneme, and that is what we call the single vowel. It has more than one letter but the sound is only one. For example, the word I. Then we have vowel consonant. You might wonder why its example is 8, where 8 is composed of many letters. Well, it's because our focus is the sound and not the letter. Then we have consonant vowel. Consonant vowel and consonant or the CBC pattern. Initial double consonant or those words that start with two consonants. Initial triple consonant. Final double consonant. Final triple consonant, and the complex syllables, which is the combination of the above mentioned. An example of onset rhyme activity is breaking down words into their onsets, the consonants before the vowel, and the rhyme, and let the students to find out everything left in the word. For example, the rhyme own, as in down, could have the following onset to make the words in this table. For our first example, we have the onset D with the rhyme own, which made the word down. For the BR, if we added the rhyme own, we can create brown, and so on. Now let us move on to the fifth skill, which is the initial and final sound segmentation. Finding and naming the initial or final sounds of words is an important phonemic awareness activity. This is a more sophisticated version of alliteration activities that requires children to identify and name the initial or final sounds in words rather than just sort words according to their initial sound. For examples, to demonstrate abilities in initial sound identification, children would successfully identify the initial sound of pillow and pancake as the P sound, as in pet, and phone and physical as in fan. Similarly, to demonstrate abilities in final sound identification, children would successfully identify the final sound of bat, cat, and slept as the T sound, as in tip, and bad, heard, and glad as D, as in deep. Remember that identifying the initial or final sounds is different from the first or last letter. For examples, students would need to identify the initial sounds in these words as S and Sh respectively. Example, sit, shark, sun, ship. And that's the first 5 phonological awareness skills that is very important for children to learn. Watch out for the part 2 of this discussion to be given by Saada Alipulo. Thank you for watching and listening. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.